Hey, what's up guys? Today I want to show you this amazing smartphone with a 3-dimensional screen and some of the software projects I made for it. The brand is a Chinese brand called E-Star and the model is Taki-1. I don't know if it's the correct pronunciation. Don't be surprised if we're talking about a Chinese brand, since 3D devices are not very common in the West, yet. Anyway, let's quickly see the main features of this phone. First of all, we have a spectacular screen. Obviously, you don't need special glasses. In fact, this is an holographic 3D screen made by a German company called Sirreal. Holographic technology is different from the classic 3D technologies like parallax barrier, for example. The 3D effect is way better and it uses a sensor to track your pupils. This is done to adjust images in real time to get the best 3D effect. The screen has Full HD resolution and it's made of Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Then, for the other features, we have an ear touch sensor that allows you to use some gestures without touching the screen. A wonderful camera. Unfortunately, it's not a double camera to capture 3D photos and videos. A titanium frame. A battery cover with a skin-like effect. Removable battery. Dual SIM. And a technology for 3-dimensional audio too called Cauldron Audio. Well, all of that released way back in 2015 for the unbelievable price of 120 euros. This phone could even compete against the most powerful smartphone of that time, that, remember, was the Samsung Galaxy S6, that costed way more than 100 euros. That's why I like this device so much. I have a friend who owns many different 3-dimensional devices, and he thinks that, even in 2020, the Taki-1 is still one of the devices with the best 3D effect around. So, is there any new model, you may ask? Unfortunately, despite these big innovations, the Taki didn't get the success it deserved, and the same year, E-Star closed down. Since E-Star closed so prematurely, this phone hasn't received an update for years. Let's quickly talk about software. The last official software update dates back to 2015 and it left the whole system stuck to Android 4.2. And it's a shame, because the new 3D apps cannot run on old Android versions. But don't worry, I'm here for that. I'm continuing what this farsighted 3D company was doing, studying 3D technologies, Android, and releasing a new Android 7 software update and a new 3D video player. Okay, first let's see my new Android 7 custom ROM. Here I have another device for testing. Let's see the stock ROM and the new ROM side by side. Here's Mikel, my nickname on the web. The Mikel Android project is a series of custom ROMs for several devices I'm working on, something like Lineage OS. My ROMs are lightweight and oriented to stability and privacy. This ROM as well includes tweaks and apps to extend the life of your smartphone too. For example, this ROMs warns you when you reach high temperatures, and unlike other ROMs, it doesn't write on the same sectors of the phone memory over and over again. At the moment, the ROM is not 3D enabled yet, and it still has a few bugs, but it's already usable for daily use. Moreover, the next release will be amazing. Meanwhile, as you saw, the stock ROM boots a bit faster. Obviously, Android 4.2 requires less resources than 7. How I made this ROM? The Taki uses a MediaTek CPU, so I don't have access to MediaTek sources and I can't compile a ROM from source. I could do that for a Snapdragon device, but not for a MediaTek device. So we're not talking about building a ROM, but about porting a ROM. This process involves files replations and editings. And it was not easy at all. There are not clear guides on internet, there's not a standard way to do that, you need time and testing. In my case it was even harder because I wanted to port an Android 7 ROM starting from an Android 4.2 ROM, so it really is a big jump. One day I'll post and share a guide that explains how I did that in detail. I was forgetting to tell you that to flash the 7 ROM I also had to port a new custom recovery TWRP. Now let's take a look at the holographic 3D apps included in this phone. We have the classic Android gallery for 2D images, of course, a gallery for 3D images, a video player for 3D videos, HoloShow, an app to view 3D models, which missed some features, so I had to find some workarounds to open my 3D models. Holospace, a store for 3D and AirTouch contents, but unfortunately servers are down nowadays. Anyway, the main problem with this device is that none of the 3 versions of the stock firmware is perfect. One lacks the 3D store, the other has a problem with phone calls, another offers better 3D effect, and so on. That's why TakiOne owners asked me to put all these pieces together for the new ROM. By the way, if you want to download this ROM, you can find it on the XDA Developers Forum. It's the biggest tech forum in the world. I'm also posting some summaries in Russian on the 4PDA forum. Okay, custom ROM aside, I also want to show you better the 3D video player with eye tracking. A TakiOne owner from our little 3D community found the source code of the stock 3D video player on GitHub and sent it to me. The code was really hidden and forgotten, so I decided to fork the code and add features to the player. As you can see, I added a clear and concise presentation to the project. I optimized the code with ProGuard. Since the player needs 3D libraries to work, and some ROMs don't include these libraries, I extracted them from the last stock ROM and I made a guide to import them correctly in any custom ROM. I also converted the source code from an old Eclipse project to a new Android Studio project. I added 4 new languages and improved the original English text, and I may also add new features in the future. If you want to visit the project page and download the player, go to github.com/Mikel. You can also find this link under the Wikipedia page 3D enabled smartphones. Okay guys, let's finish this video. I want to thank you, my little 3D community, for helping me with the translations, ideas and testing. I hope you like my works and my future works, since I have projects for other 3D devices too. So, if you want to stay updated, you can enable notifications for the social pages I left for you in the description below. Oh, and I also hope my English was good enough for you. Bye!